Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This morning, the Democratic committee staff released a memorandum on the amazing number of distortions and false claims that Republicans have made about the Affordable Care Act. It's a deplorable record. Virtually every major prediction or claim made by the Republicans about the ACA since 2009 turned out to be wrong. Today, we have the benefit of hearing from some of the companies that are actually working on the Affordable Care Act in the real world. These companies were not the biggest supporters of the law. They still oppose many provisions, but they do not live in the Republican echo chamber. They live in the real world, and I hope they can provide some clarity on a few questions. The first question I have for all of you is whether the ACA is a government takeover of health care. Republicans have made that claim, I don't know how many times. By one count, the phrase appeared on Speaker Boehner's website 90 different places. It's mentioned on the RNC, Republican National Committee website, 200 times. Days before Affordable Care Act's passage in 2010, then House Minority Leader John Boehner's office wrote that, quote, Democrats have opted for a government takeover of health care. So, Mr. Wingle, the ACA is now in effect. Has the government nationalized Aetna, or is it still a for-profit corporation?
We are a publicly traded for-profit corporation.
And Mr. Ovanko, what about you? Has Cigna been taken over by the federal government?
No, we're a for-profit organization.
Mr. Rogers, Mr. Mathias, have your companies been nationalized, or are they still nonprofits?
We're a not-for-profit mutual legal reserve company.
We're actually a for-profit organization.
Oh, you're for-profit, sorry. Mr. Pratt, you work for the trade group that represents the private insurance industry. Is there still a private insurance industry, or has the industry been destroyed or taken over by the government, as Republicans predicted?
There is still a private industry, and we represent many of those companies.
Thank you. Republicans also questioned whether private health insurance would even exist in 2014. In 2010, Senator Coburn said, quote, there will be no insurance industry left in 3 years, and that, quote, private health insurance will be dead in 3 years, unquote. I should note that nearly 4 years have passed since that statement was made. Mr. Pratt, is the private industry, health industry, dead?
Representative, no.
Does anybody else on the panel believe the private industry has disappeared? Private insurance industry. Thank you. Republicans have also claimed that Americans will no longer be able to see their doctors because of the ACA. Mr. Wingle, does your company healthcare plan, the plans cover physician care?
They do.
And Mr. Ovanko, what about you? Does Cigna have doctors in its healthcare plans?
Yes, we do.
Mr. Rogers, what about HCSC? Do you include doctors in your networks?
Certainly.
And Mr. Mathias, what about WellPoint?
Yes, we cover physician services.
Thank you. Thank you very much.